And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the land, a part of collecting and connecting a good vibes community. I am Ethan Greenberg, and joining me tonight, Andrew Hagenbaugh and Mike Pellegrini, also known as Mike, Mike from the UK, my main man here. Love to have them along, and thank everybody for joining us this evening. Mike, how are you doing this evening, sir? I hope we're not keeping anybody in your house up, as it is midnight there.
No, you're not, because everyone's gone to bed. Actually, I'm going to lie there. 2 people have gone to bed, and the other person's probably challenging me for what time I go to bed. To be honest, he'll probably be playing FIFA at like 4 a.m. So.
Hey, that's not a bad thing to be doing at 4 a.m. I really need to get an updated version of FIFA. I'm really kind of pissed off, quite frankly. And Drew, I'll let you kind of fill us in on your day or how you're doing as well. But kind of pissed off that hockey games, we need better hockey games. I feel like they died off at some point. You know, there was the amazing games in the mid 90s on the Sega Genesis. And nowadays I'm like, meh, not so great. So I hear you. Drew, how are you doing, sir?
I've been the best that I can be. It's been a long day. Actually, 2 days. It's a long day yesterday, and it was a long day today. But we're here. We're chilling. And speaking of the hockey games, I remember as a kid, there was a game. It was NHL 2K11, and if you had it for the Wii, you could act during like intermission. You were allowed to like drive the Zamboni with the like Wii remote or whatever. It was like the funnest thing ever.
Oh, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. The one thing, the Wii was quite revolutionary. The fact that you could, the Wii Sports, everybody loved that.
I used to love playing tennis on the Wii Sport. That was my favorite, playing tennis.
I like the bowling. The bowling was good.
I sucked at that.
Excellent.
I suck at bowling in real life anyway. So.
Well, yeah, join the club. You know, any sport that you can get better at while drinking. I don't know. There's a question about how much of a sport it is, but well, that being said, we'll kind of leave it at that. So, guys, we are all a little bit sleep deprived for multiple reasons. One of those reasons, not a bad reason. Cleveland Guardians baseball, huge win last night out in La La Land over the defending world champion, back-to-back world champion, LA Dodgers. I mean, Parker Messick on the mound, an unlikely hero, as it were. Mike, I mean, you're knee-deep in the Guardians. What did you think about last night's performance? From the guys, you know, from the pitching perspective, hitting perspective, the good, the bad, the ugly. Give us your rundown there.
So on the pitching side, Parker Messick kind of surprised me a little bit because obviously he was the last man into the rotation after Logan Allen got sent down as one of the final roster decisions. And to be honest, he pitched very, very well against a very left-handed heavy Dodgers lineup. And I've got a stat here somewhere, if I remember correctly, that their left-handed lineup consisting of Ohtani, I think it was Tucker, and who was the other one? I can't even remember who the other one was now. But they were 3 for 15 in that game off him yesterday. Yeah, it was Ohtani, Tucker, and I can't remember who the other guy was now off the top of my head. Was it Mookie Betts isn't left-handed, is he?
No, I think it's Freddie Freeman.
It was one. It was either Freeman or Max Muncy. It was one of the two. But anyway, they were 3 for 15 off him yesterday, which was kind of impressive. And believe it or not, he became the 8th rookie since 1950 to throw at least 6 shutout innings with 0 walks and at least 5 strikeouts against the Dodgers.
That's pretty. I mean, it's very impressive. And is it kind of interesting, guys, that of our 4? So what are we? We're 3 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were expecting, certainly at the top of the pitching rotation, we have certain expectations for guys. Expectations from Tanner Bybee, expectations from Gavin Williams.
Yep.
They've been the least impressive, and those are our 2 losses. They've been really bad. I know, Drew, you've been going crazy, and actually they set a stat, and I think you may have posted it on social media about see what happens when you don't walk anybody. And I know that's a big boo-boo in your book for Gavin Williams. What have you thought of the pitching so far, and are you surprised of who we've gotten to win out of?
I mean, obviously, it's always a big surprise when your rookie gets your biggest win, against the Dodgers and Parker Messick. But it's no surprise that Gavin has, had 6 walks because he led the league in walks last season. Obviously, he's on pace to do it again this season, just after the first game. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you did it last year. You started off the season. You think, Carl Willis or Corey Kluber, they would sit there and work with them like, hey, listen, we know we added a splitter to your arsenal, and, we got to control it. We got to control other pitches. And don't get me wrong, obviously, game 1 is game 1. Pitchers are going to struggle here and there throughout the entire league, no matter who it is. So I'm not expecting, him to walk 6 batters every game. Or, I'm not expecting Tanner Bybee. Well, this is a little bit different because I was there live for every home game to watch Tanner Bybee give up about 2 to 3 homers per game because that's what he does best. But it's one of those things where it's like, you think you can fix these with just like simple, like, hey, listen, just locate. It's like the early days, when I was a kid, or like back in the 90s where guys like Nagy, who wasn't a fast pitcher, but he knew how to locate very well and get batters out by location. So again, you're supposed to teach these guys like, listen, yeah, you can throw 97, but where's it going? Especially like when you spike or Gavin, like every other pitch when he threw a splitter, he just spiked it into the dirt, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, Mike, what are your thoughts about the pitching so far? And
I'm actually more concerned about Tanner Bybee and his home runs than I am Gavin Williams and his walks. Because like we said the other day privately, those home runs are instant runs on the board, whereas you can get these hitters who get walked into double plays next bat. You can get out of it quite easily, whereas the home runs are just instant impact on the game. So I'm more worried about Tanner Bybee tonight than what Gavin Williams is going to do in his next start, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of mix of good and bad for the pitching, as we've talked about. So you get a good performance out of. So Tanner Bybee, he gives up 3 solo shots, right?
Yep.
Not great, but it's not horrible. It's not ideal.
It's been the same thing for 3 years. He's always giving up early solo home runs.
Right. Joey Cantillo. Who'd have thunk it? He comes out pretty solid. We do all right. After, again, Gavin Williams struggles mightily. Yep. Joey Cantillo does well. Slade Ciccone had a rough go of it as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned that the 3 guys we were counting on in that rotation all were a bit iffy. And I know it's obviously only 1 start in the season. And Tanner Bybee left his start with right shoulder inflammation, but apparently he's been throwing. I assume, or it's his turn in the rotation. Is he pitching tonight?
He's been announced in the lineup as pitching now.
All right, so that's a good thing. And as you mentioned, he'll probably get popped around, but he's got to be careful. The one thing that Messick did, I'm texting you guys last night as they're smashing the ball right at guys, but I was definitely concerned very early that there could be problems, but he navigated it all night.
So you guys are more concerned about rotation or bullpen right now because you've got Cade Smith, who is second in ERA across the board with 9, and you've got Slade Ciccone at 12.46 ERA. Like, I know it's a small sample size, but are we more worried about the front load of the rotation or the back end of the bullpen? What's like the biggest concern early on?
I mean, at this point, I would rather have the back end of the bullpen be elite because, again, these are the guys who are closing out games. Like, of course, starting pitchers could have a rough go, But if you could come back and get a lead or something, you have to rely on Cade Smith to get you through and to close it out. And, last night you're up 4-0 and he's given up 2 runs and you're already shaking. You're like, oh my God, he's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to blow it. And it's like, I can't face that. I'd rather Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis when he gets back, Kobe Allard when, I know he's just got added the other day or today.
Hunter Gaddis has been added to Columbus for rehab. So
Simon. So whenever he gets called up, back from his assignment, like these are the guys you want, being as good as they possibly can be, and because again, these are the guys you have to rely on once the starters go out to keep the lead if they have one. So Bibee can give up 3 home runs, but you could be up 4-3, 5-3. Or you could be tied or something, and then he gets pulled. Now it's up to the bullpen to keep it to where it is. So
it's all about recovery time, though, isn't it? As well, like with the starting pitcher, you have enough recovery time to respond from their mistakes. Whereas if you have someone coming in the 8th or the 9th, your leeway to recover from that disaster is a lot smaller.
And that's my concern with like a guy like Matt Festa, because again, last year I can't tell you how many times he's given up we'd be up 4-3 or something, and first page gone. It's like, all right, dude, please leave. I can't stand you. Or it's so annoying.
Yeah, he comes in and this is all I hear. It's brutal when that guy comes in.
It's funny you mentioned. I know he's only pitched 1 game so far, Matt Festa, but he's one of 3 pitchers in our whole unit who hasn't given up a run, along with Eric Stokowski, who's pitched 3 innings without a run, and obviously Paramesic started yesterday. So Festa's due, because at the World Baseball Classic, he wasn't exactly great.
No. I'm with you guys. I agree. I have more concern about the back end than I do the front end, because like you said, there's no margin for error at the end. You blow the game, you're done. It's over. And that's an issue. So Cade Smith needs to lock in. Last night, obviously, he did not have his split, as they were saying on the broadcast, his splitter. It was out of control. He did not have control of that. Poor Austin Hedges back there is battling, and I was listening, guys. You were said, "Oh, I thought we lost Ethan an hour ago." Well, you kind of did. I goes through the 7th and 8th inning, and I still had it on my. had it on my phone and was playing it. And I was listening, and as it got to the 9th inning and things got interesting, I had to roll over and start watching it, and that was rather frustrating. Not exactly the smooth, relaxing way to go to sleep, but never a dull moment in Cleveland sports. Mike, we've talked a little pitching. Let's talk some hitting, and if you got anything else to add, please step in.
I was just wondering quickly, what's your thoughts on the 9th inning guy like a Cade Smith pitching in a non-save situation? Because it felt like yesterday, we have this issue when they're not in that situation, that they always seem to pitch worse. Because there's less pressure, I guess you could say, on them to close it out. But
right, they come in, and the mindset is different. If they know that this is a 3-out save situation, it's a 1-run game, we have got to close this out. They come in laser focused. There is no margin for error at that point. Now, as you mentioned, they come in that situation. It's not a save situation. We're up 4-0. You're feeling good, but you've got to be better than that. I'm sorry to quote Kevin Stefanski. He's got to be better.
I mean, he's got to be. And, again, when Hunter Gaddis gets called up from his rehab, say Cade Smith continues to struggle in the back end and say Gaddis is doing well, would you switch him around and make Gaddis the closer and make Cade Smith as the guy who comes in as the setup man?
Okay, I gotta stop something here, because this is some news I'm just seeing on ESPN, and for those of you who don't know, we've got Mike from across the pond.
I think I know where you're going with this.
What just happened?
Italy misses out on.
I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it. I'm part Italian. I've had enough. I'm depressed. Shut up.
I didn't even know. I'm like, this is crazy. So for those of you who don't know and tune out, Mike Pellegrini, he's in across the pond. We are all Tottenham supporters. And we're going to talk a little soccer a little later. We're going to talk some Spurs. But I saw this news and I'm like, well, I'm talking to fellow soccer fans here. We can bring this up. That is crazy. And the other big news that I just saw breaking, Tiger Woods to step away from golf to seek treatment. He needs to.
What alcohol problems?
I have a feeling it's probably focus on my health. Now, I'm going to read the article here real quick. He had another incident. Apparently, he said he was looking at his phone, which obviously is a problem in and of itself.
Mhm.
But I'm sure that could be hooked on pain meds. I don't know that. And I'm just wondering with how much he has had to go through from a physical perspective.
What happened to him after the urine test and refusing to do that the other day? Like, did anything come out after that? Like, because he obviously
entered, actually, Mike, good question. In this article I'm reading on ESPN.com, this was just posted a short bit ago, maybe about 15, 20 minutes ago. He entered a plea of not guilty earlier in the day today. He said, according to the article, I know and understand the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today. I am stepping away for a period of time to seek treatment and focus on my health. This is necessary in order for me to prioritize my well-being and work toward lasting recovery. So let me ask you this from afar, Mike. How much of are you into golfing much at all? And in the golf world, have you followed this Tiger Woods like rapid decline, just a fall from grace, and kind of what is the opinion maybe outside of this country, outside of the U.S.?
Being honest, I don't really follow golf.
Don't worry, you're not. Don't worry, you're amongst the friends here.
Unless it's the Ryder Cup, because it's more interesting. Because when you're seeing 50 guys, 70, 100 guys go around the course playing against each other, so I find it a bit boring. But then when they're teaming up to try and get some points for a team, I find it actually better to watch because it's kind of every single hole is very important for a team aspect. Whereas when it's a longer weekend over 100 guys, I don't find it as competitive. If that makes sense.
Oh, I'm right with you. I'm right with you, but I thought that this was just timely and interesting news. What about you, Drew? I don't know. Are you a big golfer? If not, that's okay. But I mean, what are your thoughts about this latest development in Tiger Woods and just again, in the words or the description I would use is kind of a fall from grace.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to even think about it. I'm not much of a golfer. Like, I golf quite a bit, like during the summer and stuff like that. Like, I'm not good by any means. I'm probably like a 24 handicap, so I'm like bad. But it's something I like to do on the weekends. With my dad and my brother, something go hang out at the golf course, have a couple drinks, enjoy the day. But as a kid, I used to play all the Tiger Woods games on like the GameCube and stuff. Like Tiger Woods 05 was like one of my first games I've had for like golf and whatnot. And, I followed him around. I watch the Masters usually every year because it's kind of fun to watch the Masters because it's always a fun tournament. I've been to Bridgestone when they were playing at Firestone in Akron because, of course, me being born and raised in Akron is like 2 blocks from my house. So I went there one time to watch a tournament. But I'm not too deep into it.
Fair enough. So moving on. Mike, what do you think about the Guardians' bats?
The Guardians' bats. Well, I've got a list here of it, and it's a bit depressing, really, because outside CDL, all the top guys like Manzardo, Jose, they're all really struggling. Like, Jose Ramirez's batting average is 143, Manzardo's is 111, Rocchio's is 154, and Bo Daley's is 91.
Yeah, but all right. What do you think about the rebirth or the revolution?
Rebirth of Austin Hedges.
Yes, of Austin Hedges.
Well, he had 4 at-bats yesterday, 2 hits and 2 runs, and he's got a 500 batting average.
Way to go! No, what was really good yesterday, I think we saw Quan. Quan is starting to kind of.
He's creeping up the leaderboard. He's up to 4th now with a 318 at batting average, so he's slightly improving. I hope Jose and Manzardo get it going the next couple of games before we head home for the home opener, to be honest.
Right. And CDL, obviously the very hot start. He gets 4 home runs in the first 3 games, hasn't homered in the past couple. But do you think that he's the real deal or not? I'd love to hear what your opinions are about this. Mike, what do you think? Do you think he's the real deal, or is it too early to tell?
I guess it's too early to tell, but then I've been banging on the drum for him for the last year for him to be called up. And the fact that he's smashed multiple history books in the first half a week and he's already won American League Player of the Week, like the first time that's happened in Cleveland since Albert Bell in 1995. I guess that's a little telling, I guess, that he's had a hot start.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm not going to be upset about it. He's about as good as we have had in recent times. Let's hope it's sustainable. What about you, Drew? What do you think about the Guardians lineup so far and CDL, the early impressions? Do you believe that we have the real deal? Or is this going to be another flash in the pan, Oscar Gonzalez or whichever other guy you want to put in that fill in the blank?
So I'm with Mike here. I think it's still slightly too early to tell. I mean, obviously I was a big advocate for him to get called up last year before he got injured. And this is what he does. He's a good bat no matter where he's been in the minor leagues. He's always been a really good bat. So I would assume that, he could carry that into the majors. I mean, he's shown it this year already so far. He even showed it a little bit in the playoffs last year. I mean, his first at bat was a walk in the playoffs. So, he shows a lot of patience. He shows a lot of, when he does make contact, it's good contact. I mean, during the bases loaded, I said in the group chat, he was unlucky because he was about to hit it right over Mookie Betts, and Mookie Betts was able to leap up and snatch it. And it's like, that was it right there. That was a gapper too, and that was going to go through. But again, he's one of those guys who could do that. He has hard hit balls. I mean, his home run against Seattle, one of his home runs in Seattle was like 113 off the bat, 114 off the bat. I mean, it was insane. So this is a guy who can hit. He can hit for power. And I know he has a very unorthodox kind of swing, but it works so well because he keeps his hands back and he keeps his hands in, and it just allows him to barrel it really well.
Yeah, he showed amazing strength. That extra inning home run in Seattle, going oppo.
I thought he flew out.
Yeah, it was an unreal kind of thing to see. I feel like this is going to be one of those deals with the Guardians where they're going to have to be unlikely heroes on a regular basis. You're going to have a couple of guys who we count on, but who's up? Who's going to suddenly pull something off? Last night it's Schneemann.
Yeah.
And Hedges, who are doing some damage. I thought we were going to get hosed when we left the bases loaded in about the 6th inning, 5th inning.
And we had another one before that where we had 2 in scoring position and with 1 out, I think, if I remember correctly. We didn't score either of them. And it's like, it's in a 1-1 game, you've had multiple opportunities to add on. And you're playing against a Dodgers team that pretty much scores every game. Like, they hardly ever get shut out. But luckily for us, when we nearly wasted the bases, was it the second opportunity we had?
I believe so, is when Schneemann came.
And they walked, was it Roki? Was it Roki they walked?
The last batter to make a bases loaded?
Yeah, who did they walk? They did a bases loaded walk, and then Schneemann hit 2 runs.
Was it Rhys Hoskins?
It was Rhys Hoskins. They watched
Hoskins. He was 0-2.
Hoskins, that was it.
Wasn't it 0-2 in the count?
0-2, yeah. 0-2 in the count.
And he walked.
And that's very, very important. It's just as important as anything else to have plate discipline and be able to go there and contribute in that way, even if you're not swinging a hot bat. I know these guys will turn it around. What was the story? There was a story they told. I'm trying to recall. I was listening to it on ESPN Cleveland, but somebody was talking about I think that's where I was listening to it. They were saying about playing with Jose.
Yeah.
And something along the lines, he looks at him and he's looking at the scoreboard and his average is terrible. And he looks at it and he's like, oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. And then he proceeds over the next how many ever games to go crazy. And it was the funniest story I had heard in a long time. And I wish I could tell it better, but I'm not concerned, right? I'm not concerned about Jose. He'll pull it around. Certainly Stephen Kwan is starting to pull it around a little bit. It's just going to be who's going to support these guys, who's going to show up every night and be the consistent hitter. And quite frankly, if Austin Hedges finds something, Bo Naylor might be out of a job. Not that I'd be sad about that.
No, I wouldn't be too upset about it because again, just like looking at like the OPSs and stuff like that, especially like David Fry, who's again another backup catcher. David Fry is batting an 833 OPS right now. So David Fry's actually not been he's been hitting the ball pretty well. And getting on base. So
yeah, he's only had 6 plate appearances. He has 2 hits, one of them being a double. He has struck out 3 times. We are striking out an awful lot, guys.
Yeah, I think there might be some, and I know I heard something about this last season too, but I think there's a thing where Vogt wanted the guys to get a little bit more aggressive, and just because obviously they weren't scoring at the beginning of the season, they weren't scoring much. So he wanted them to be a little bit more aggressive because I think they were a little too patient at the plate. And when they did strike out, they were striking out looking instead of swinging. So I think they're trying to be a little bit more because again, during the bases, I think it was the bases loaded situation where, or just after the bases loaded situation where Schneemann brought in some runs, Rocchio came up and there's a guy in like first and third or second or whatever. And Rocchio swung on all 3 pitches, all of them in the dirt. And I think guys like him and Arias, I think they try way too hard to try and get on base or get a hit, that they just swing at absolutely everything they possibly can. It's like Noel or, Jonathan Rodriguez. Like, they're like, oh, I'm in a massive slump, so let me just swing as much as possible. And then it's like, you're just striking out more. Like, at least wait for the ball to get over the plate. Like, you're swinging a spiked ball that's like, they even get past, like, there's one, I think it was last year. I think Jonathan Rodriguez swung at a ball that barely made it halfway to the plate or something. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? Like you drop 2 fly balls in the same inning, and then you do that. Like, you don't even belong anywhere. You like go to like Korea, play in the Korean league or something. Like, it's annoying.
You could go in the stands and sell some hot dogs.
Yeah. I can't believe it took us 27 minutes to bring up Arias' name, the worst player on the team. Like,
he's so bad. He had a 71 batting average. I'm surprised you didn't mention that.
He nearly cost us the game yesterday because he's the one that cocked up. They got them on the board in the bottom of the 9th and gave them a little bit of momentum. And it's like, really, you don't need to make a mistake to bring them back in the game in the 9th inning. Like, he can't hit. He can't play defense. Like, what are we doing?
Just start Schneemann at second and put Roki at short and just put Martinez in center field or something.
I've said this. We should just move Rocco to short now because Bazana's going to come at some point this season. So get Rocco reps back then now and just rotate Schneemann and Martinez at second until he's ready.
Well, even
and then play the other one in center field. It's not difficult.
No, even if it's not Bazana, it might be Juan Brito.
Exactly. So, it's going to be one of them.
Yeah, it's either or.
All right, well, wait a second. I just want to tell you guys from down on the farms, because we are talking about Travis Bazana. He's a big 0 for 2 today. The Clippers currently in the top half of the 5th inning in Indianapolis. They are leading 3-1. Bazana on the season is hitting .214. Not very impressive.
What's Jones in?
Jones, 2 for 2, with 2 runs scored, hitting .429.
Of course.
We're going to end up with him back here. You realize this. Somehow, some genius is going to say, you know what? I think he figured him out at AAA.
At $2 million, they've got to get some return for the $2 million they're paying him.
Well, he could go and wash the guys' cars during the game or something like that. Find some menial task for him to do. Well, I think we expected, and maybe privately we talked about our hopes for what the Guardians could do on this opening 7-game road trip. And they have, in fact, we were hoping for maybe 3 and 4. That we thought, hey, that's pretty darn good to play 7 games combined between Seattle and LA and the Dodgers. They've got their 3 wins. Do you think we can steal one either tonight or tomorrow, guys? Drew, I'll go with you first. Do you think we could steal one tonight or tomorrow?
I mean, anything's possible. Yeah, I think you can steal one tonight or tomorrow. But it depends on solely on how Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams pitch. If Gavin walks 7 people and gives up a home run, it's not going to bode well. Or if Tanner gives up 3 home runs in a row, it's not going to bode well. And my thought is too, especially going into tonight, is Tanner Bybee going to be put on some sort of like leash a little bit because of the inflammation? Like, okay, before he gets like too deep, like we'll give him like 3 and a quarter, like 3 2/3, maybe like 4 innings of work, whatever, and see like what he can do. If he gives up, like starts to giving up like a couple of hits here and there, maybe you take him out, be like, okay, we need to get this guy out as fast as possible before things really turn to crap. Because again, this is the Dodgers. You don't want to mess around with a team like this. This is a team, if Bybee's not careful, it's going to be 6-0 by the 3rd, 4th inning if he's not careful.
It doesn't help that we've got Bo Naylor behind the plate tonight as well. So Hedges' expertise of defense ain't going to help him out because we've got Bo behind the plate. So.
And he just doesn't call as good of a game. Bo doesn't. But again, so Mike, what do you think about our opening road trip? Do you think we can steal one of these games? Do you have any read on it?
The thing is, coming into the season, we said 3 wins on this road trip because actually I did my prior to the season predictions, and I'm boring. I've got Dodgers repeat, unfortunately, and then I've actually put Seattle to get to the World Series. So, in my mind, going into the season, those first 7 games are technically our hardest 7 games of the season on paper. Yeah. And if we finish with 3 or 4 wins, we've got 3, which is what I was hoping for. If we could sneak another one, it's probably going to be a grind, and it ain't going to be pretty if we do it, but I don't really expect it, to be honest. I think with the scheduled pitch in the next 2 days against Ohtani and Yamamoto, I just don't see us getting many hits or runs, to be honest. But I would love Jose to wake up and prove me wrong, but I don't think we're going to do it. And even if we don't, we've already hit the goal for me of 3 wins on the road trip. So,
yeah. Well, I think that's
and the Tigers and Royals are both 2-2. So even if we lose the next 2 and we drop to 3 and 4, the chances are we'll probably be tied of 1 game behind one of them 2 teams. So, and we've got the 7 hardest games of the season out of the way early. So,
agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right. Unless you guys have anything else you wanted to touch on here, let me know. If not, I think we can move on to the hardwood and talk about our Cavaliers. Mike, anything else you wanted to bring up, Guardians wise?
Can our guys please actually get more challenges?
Oh, that too. But I am loving the ABS. I am loving that. Quite honestly, and at some point they brought this up on Cleveland radio today. At some point, are they eventually going to move to all the balls and strikes are automated, and you could still have a home plate umpire. Obviously, there's plays at the plate. There's various other things going on, but for the purpose of the balls and strikes, it's clear that umpires were getting away with this is my strike zone.
Yeah.
Every day, and it was different for every night.
And it's annoying because I cannot watch. I could miss a game and just go on the tracking thing online and moan about all the wrong calls, and it's there for me to say instantly online without watching the game. So why can't they just have a system that is implemented straight in so every single call's accurate and correct? We've got it anyway. They just don't use it.
Exactly. Let's take advantage of technology and at least take that out of the equation to have something to complain about.
Because that call in the Baseball World Classic to end the semi-final was a disgrace. Like that was like a shin, and they called it a strike, and he didn't swing. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you.
So moving on, fellas, let's head over to the hardwood. Let's let them know the Cavaliers will be back in action second half of a back-to-back tonight. They are out in L.A. taking on the Lakers. So the Guardians will be at Chavez Ravine taking on the Dodgers, and the Cavaliers will be at whatever crypto garbage arena taking on LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers.
Is Doncic back because he was suspended? Is he back from suspension?
I think he is. I could be wrong.
And LeBron's questionable. I saw that.
Yeah, he is questionable. Now, I will tell you
LeBron's
this.
going to play. He always plays against the Cavs. He always ends up getting on the injury report as questionable, then always turns up and ends up playing the majority of the time. So
What Brian, if you didn't hear this is what I heard Brian Windhurst saying, is that especially on back-to-backs, LeBron will be listed as questionable all the time. So this is nothing new for him to be listed as questionable. I would expect that he will play, although I'm going to have to look here while I'm running my mouth to kind of look and see where they are in the standings and if they are kind of locked in. The Lakers are a game and a half, two in the loss column ahead of the Denver Nuggets. Nobody's catching the Thunder or the Spurs. They are the top two in the Western Conference. So they've got a little wiggle room. They're 9-1 in their last 10, as are the Thunder and the Spurs, and Denver hot on their tails at 8-2. Right now in the 6th seed is Houston. Houston's got a comfortable 3.5 game lead over Phoenix.
That'd be an interesting series. The Lakers against the Rockets. I think KD and his gang would probably win that in 5 games.
I think the physicality Goon, Şengün, amongst others, will make life difficult.
That's their weakness, the Lakers, isn't it? They don't really have a dominant big guy that can counteract against like a Jokic or a Şengün. If they play either or, they're kind of in a bit of a sticky situation, I think. I think it's a bad matchup for them if they face either of them 2 teams in the first round.
It really is. It really is. So the Cavs won last night. So the first question I want to ask you, and this is just kind of a funny one, and I guess if you listen to ESPN Cleveland and their 3-time Super Bowl champ Gerard Cherry a couple years ago, after the Cavs had a miraculous win against the Mavericks with a Max Strus heave from 3/4 court, he said that was a bad win. I agreed with it. Last night's win against Utah is clearly trying to lose.
Yeah.
Guys, was that a good win? Because it's a win? Or was it a bad win? Drew, what do you think? Good win? What do you think about last night's game against Utah? The result itself, considering all the guys that weren't playing.
Listen, I could care less about win. For me, a win's a win. I don't care if it's a good win or a bad win. At the end of the day, it's a W on the score on the sheet. So, that's something we can talk about later with Spurs. I don't care if it's a scrappy win or a bad one, whatever. A W is a W, and you need the W. So I don't care about all that. What I'm more happy with was the recent play with Evan Mobley. And that's the thing that I really have been more paying attention to, is because, he's a guy we need this postseason to thrive. Him, Jared Allen, we need these two to really step up their game. And 34 points and 17 rebounds the other night for Evan Mobley. I mean, he looked like a completely different player than he did all season long. Last night, that's the one Evan Mobley I want to see every night.
And he got 3 blocks, 3 block shots in that game as well.
Yeah, he got 3 blocks. And the biggest play, when I think he got the block, went all the way down court and had that dunk when he missed the layup and then put it back. That's the Mobley I've been waiting for all season. But I've been wanting to see that out of him, and we're starting to see it. And it's like, okay, good. It's coming at the right time. It's coming just before the postseason. Hopefully, he carries it into the postseason, because Mitchell with 34 points tied him in points. The one thing I do like to see from Mobley is 0 threes attempted, because I cannot watch him shoot another 3 in my life ever again. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of weird to say, but when he shoots a 3. It kills me. I'm like, dude, his jumper is so weird, and he line drives it. I'm like, oh, this dude's got no arc in that shot, and he's gonna kill somebody with it. But he plays so much better in the paint. And again, all we saw last night was him in the paint. Give it to me. Got it, backed up, turned around, slammed it, turned up, laid it in. It's like simple. That's all you had to do all season long.
We dominated that game in the paint, though. We outscored them 82-40 in the paint yesterday.
Exactly.
Despite shooting 3 of 32 from 3, our worst 3-point shooting performance of the whole season, we still dominated them in the paint.
It's like we've been scripted for this all season long.
It just annoys me because why can't Evan Mobley play like this when JA's on the court? Like, they need to find a way to mesh them two together and do it together, because when they're both playing at that level, they're basically impossible to stop. But the problem is they only seem to do it when the other guy's out. It's just figuring out how you can get them both to connect and be able to dominate the client like that together. Like, because if you're going to go out there and dominate the team, like, even if it's not 82 to 40, even if it's 70 to 35, whatever it is, when it's that much of a gap, there's no reason to be going out there shooting 32 times from behind the 3-point line. Like,
what I've seen is that. Oh, so first of all, we have had such a bad season of injuries, and it's hard to judge a lot of this season because key pieces have been missing here and there, and we're still not exactly at full strength, right? We are trying to figure out what our starting five is going to be if everybody's healthy headed into the playoffs. But with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, we've each seen them succeed without the other. And their games have improved with James Harden. In the game against the Heat last week, which was
the win.
The win when Jared Allen came back, which I believe was on Friday. He was back in the lineup.
Friday, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we kicked the crap out of him. Let's just be honest. Allen had 18 and 10 in 18 minutes. Mobley had 23 and 10 in 29 minutes. We need to see the Evan Mobley that dominates down low, Drew, to your point. Mm-hmm. However, it helps a little bit, if necessary, to be able to spread the floor. So Mobley being a little bit more of a weapon away from the basket is not always a bad thing, but I agree.
No.
I'd prefer him in the paint where he can dominate. He's got some excellent post moves. He needs to bulk up, though. We're going to have to get him some big get him a couple big arches from McDonald's and have him fatten up a little bit.
And the thing is, James Harden's passing is underrated, so you can utilize that alongside Mobley and dominating the paint. Like, that's a totally different problem for other teams' defenses.
It really is. I mean, currently on the season, he's averaging over 8 assists a ball game. I don't have the breakdown of what he's doing since he joined the Cavs, but that's pretty dang on good to be able to add that from that position. I know that there's been a few games where out in for the Clippers that Darius Garland has looked pretty good, but I really feel like this is a phenomenal move that the Cavs were able to pull off. Maybe in the long term, you don't have as many years left with a guy like James Harden, but in the short term, I feel much better having him out there in a situation where maybe Donovan has to take a breather. I feel like James can carry you guys for a little bit with the shots and his ability to distribute. So we shall see what happens here.
He had more assists in that game last night than points. He had 14 assists to 13 points, which tells you everything you need to know about his performance and how he's impacting the offense. But he's actually contributing in assists more probably than he is actually scoring.
He can choose when he needs to be a force scoring versus when he can choose when he wants to be a distributor.
I'm just hoping he stays this way, because when we made the trade, everyone was moaning, going, James Harden chokes in the playoffs. He shot selections gets terrible in clutch moments. But if he can play like this, where he's more of a playmaker for his teammates rather than being a focal scorer, I think come the playoff time, James Harden's going to be a completely different player that everyone's ever seen before in the playoffs, personally. But
I hope so as well. I think that, what do you guys think is the biggest issue or issues for the Cavs going into the end of the season and into the playoffs? Mike, what do you think? Biggest issue or issues?
My biggest concern right now is figuring out who's going to play the 3 spot. Is it Sam Merrill, Max Strus? Do you play Tyson there? What do you do? And Keon Ellis at the 4 hasn't been working either. Basically.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to. It's like. But I feel like they're going to keep Strus off the bench because he's played. It's 5 or 6 games since he came back. It might be 4. I don't know. I think they're just going to keep him at that kind of minutes restriction, probably for the playoffs. They're not going to overuse him, so I think he's probably going to end up coming off the bench. But I personally would rather see him start. I don't think he's going to, personally. But I think that's the biggest issue. That free spot.
All right, Drew, what about you? What do you think the biggest issue, or what, when you watch this team, your biggest issue or issues as we head out to the end of the season and into the playoffs?
Health. But no, yeah, health is definitely the biggest thing for sure, because, you know, you need all your guys healthy. But, you know, a lot of it is more individual than as a team. I mean, as a team, you know, can we do better in certain areas? I know lately we've been horrible at shooting threes. We've been horrible at free throws because, oh my God, I can't watch this team shoot a free throw to save my life because they can't make one.
Evan Mobley should be locked in the gym until he's made 50 straight, because the amount of free throws he misses in a game drives me insane.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just him. There's even guys like, there's times James Harden has missed a couple of free throws, where Don's has missed a couple of free throws. You know, Merrill, as much of a sharpshooter as he is, he misses a couple here and there. And it's like, guys, it's called a free throw for a reason. It's free.
But the problem is in playoffs, if you get to the last minute of a game when it's like a one-possession game, you're going to have to win that game by the free throw line most likely. Teams are going to foul you because they know you're vulnerable, missing free throws. So they're going to foul you, and you're going to have to make them under pressure situations in the series. Like, it's going to happen. There's going to be a game probably in the playoffs that the Cavs will lose because they missed like 2 of their last 4 free throws in the last minute of a game, and they lose by a point because they didn't make it. Like, that's the reality of the situation. Like, when it comes to the free throw thing, like, there will be games decided by that aspect, unfortunately. And the Cavs are bad at free throws, and they're also bad at defending the 3-point line as well.
Yeah, that's going to be my next point. That was my next point. Is bad at the 3-point defending the 3-point line. Like, for some reason, we just get so lost out in the perimeter, and they just make threes on us.
Are we still 32nd in that, or 31st? Because I know when right at the bottom of 3-point defense, it's like.
Either way, no matter how you slice it, we're near the bottom in the league in defending the 3 points. So that was it. You guys hit on my thoughts as to what my issues were. Drew, I definitely think health is of the utmost importance, and the health will fit into who's starting in the lineup, Mike. And then also the defense, you start to wonder, you have to wonder, how, with all the constant upheaval in the lineups and the lack of consistency, how much does that play into the defensive inefficiencies and inabilities? Is that a lack of effort? Is it a lack of communication? What is it exactly that is going on that our guys can't seem to figure out? You can't leave a guy open from 3. You got to rotate. You got to fight through the freaking screens and get out there. I don't understand it. And then you're going to have to be physical in the playoffs. You're going to have to fight for rebounds. Last night, or maybe it was in a game last night, whoever it was, Detroit and OKC, Brian Windhurst was talking about how many times maybe SGA went to the line and was talking about all the fouls they were. I mean, didn't
he get called for? He got called for a foul as well. I saw on Twitter for like the first time ever. Apparently,
it's a rare sighting. It's a rare sighting. But even in our game, I was listening to the radio feed. I was listening to Tim Alcorn and Jim Jones, and they were talking about how they were letting Utah play physical, and it was disrupting us. We are going to have to be ready for that. It is a mindset.
Do you think, though, that Spider's comments at the start of the season, where he spoke about what we do in the regular season, I mean, it means basically nothing because we've got to do it in the playoffs. Do you think that kind of mindset has affected the play by the players? They're just they know that what they do in the regular season ain't going to make toffee, so they feel like they can just turn a switch in the playoffs. I don't know. Like, is that kind of the issue? Is that kind of an issue maybe that they?
If they think they're suddenly going to turn a switch and flip a switch and it's going to be all okay, it's not. It's not going to be okay. You have to have the mentality, we are going to defend you 94 feet up and down this stinking court every time. We're going to bounce you on the glass. We're going to brutalize you, right? We're not a finesse team. We're not going to be cream puffs out there. Let's go. You have to have that mindset. You have to defend as a team, and that is something they are not doing. No matter what coach we've had, they won't do it. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's annoying. It's quite frankly annoying. And even if we manage to stick in, no matter what seed we're in, 3, 4, 5, whatever, right? We are going to eventually run into a team that is going to be ready to bully us. And and more likely than not, it would probably come in the second round, whether it's Detroit or Boston. I don't know, but they are going to play us hard. Now, I'd like to see us play potentially. I'm not advocating for losing games, right? You don't want we've seen
It's
how
funny
that
you
worked
say
out.
that. It's funny you say that, but I'm actually at the point now where I think the Cavs need to lose a couple of games because I'm worried that we're going to end up jumping. I've seen the schedules, and I'm like, there's a chance that the Cavs could jump the Knicks, and we'll end up putting ourselves in a situation where we play Boston in the second round, and it's like,
now we'll lose a couple games. Don't worry, Mike. You said this earlier, and I have the utmost confidence we are going to lose some games. I think we've got is it a home and home with Atlanta, or we've got 2 in Atlanta. Believe me,
we've got the Lakers and Warriors on this road trip. Okay. We've got the Pacers at home. We've got the Grizzlies away. We've got a home and away against the Hawks. Then we've got the Wizards.
All right,
I can see us going 5-2, which would mean if the Knicks go 3-4, which they could, we could jump them because we're getting behind them in the loss column. But they've got the tiebreaker if it's a tie. So if we go 5-2 and they go 3-4 or worse, we would leapfrog them. And look at their schedule. That's quite possible, considering they've got the Rockets and the Grizzlies away, which they'll probably split. They've got the Bulls at home, which they should probably win. But then they're at the Hawks, got Boston, got the Raptors, and got the Hornets. Wow. So they could go 3-4, and they're not exactly on the greatest form, I don't think, the Knicks right now either. So it does worry me a little bit. The Cavs might end up playing Boston in the second round, but the players can't think like that. We can, they can't.
One way or another, you play to win the game.
We did this against the what was it? Who did we do that? Hornets 2 years ago.
So that we did the Magic, and we did it. Got taken to 7 games.
We did it. We got taken to 7 games by the Magic, and guess who we got bounced by in the second round of the playoffs because we decided to rest most of our players in the third quarter of the last game of the season. We got to game 5 and lost in 5 to the Boston Celtics in the second round because we thought we'd want to rather play the Magic rather than the Pacers? I think it was.
Yeah,
first round.
Something along those lines.
Because the Bucks got the third seed.
Right, we talked about that before. Yeah, we regardless.
And it kicked us in the backside because we ended up getting Boston in the second round and we ended up losing in 5, whereas we could have had the Pacers, I think it is, in the first round. Then we'd have had an easier second round matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
For some reason, we ended up wanting to play Boston in the second round rather than whoever else it was. I think the Bucks or whoever it was like.
Yeah, it was not good, and the injuries hit us again. Once again, the health, as we mentioned it. All right, fellas, let's move on here. Let's talk about real quick. I don't want to like lament this too much. It's just some interesting banter. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Cleveland Browns. The owners' meetings this week. You've got Andrew Berry, our general manager, coming out, and he's making comments about Myles Garrett. And essentially, everyone wants to pick on the fact that he didn't specifically say, no, we are not trading him. He made some roundabout comments. I'm not going to waste any more breath on that because it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. He's not going anywhere. The 3 of us have had this discussion. The guy's not going anywhere, right? And the only people that would give you picks are like that he would go to are not good picks. They're not good picks.
Is there a restriction on the Cavs doing it this year, though? Because the Browns did it this year because the only 2 teams that I'd trade him to get any sort of value are the Rams and the Cowboys, I think, because they both have multiple picks, the first-round picks this year. Otherwise, there's no real value because if you trade Myles Garrett to a team with 3 or 4 first-round picks, which is what you're going to want to get any kind of value, you're not going to get that full return for another 3 or 4 years. So you need to get it higher value picks, and you need to get them sooner. So, unless you're going to deal into Dallas or the Rams, I think those are the 2 teams outside the Jets and us that have like 2 first-round picks. I think I might be wrong there, but don't the Rams have the Falcons pick or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe you're correct. But yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not worth doing it. And those
No.
two teams, he'd probably accept those two teams. But
Probably.
even though Dallas chokes in the playoffs, but apparently he wanted to go to Dallas when he got drafted by the Browns anyway. That was the rumor going around.
Well,
at the time.
he's from Texas. He's from the area.
He's from Texas, so he probably would accept the trade there. But they're probably the only non-contender that he would probably accept in his trade clause, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I just don't. The value's not there. You could trade him to the Jets for their
But he's
both
not
first
going to
round
go
picks.
there.
But they're for their picks for the next 4 years. But he's not going to go to a tanking team, even though he'd make them slightly better. But there'll still be a top 10
Right.
draft
He would
pick for
decline that. He has control of where he goes. They're not trading him. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm putting it to bed right now. Moving on. Another dumb thing that was heard from this week is old Jimmy Haslam starts talking, and he starts talking about Deshaun Watson, amongst other things, and suggesting after last year he came out and said it was a big swing and a miss. He now is kind of walking it back and saying, well, maybe I could have articulated that better. And maybe it
hasn't
could
ruled
be a
out an
home run.
extension. Hasn't ruled out an extension, which no one in Cleveland wants. I don't even think Deshaun Watson wants an extension, to be honest.
No, I don't think there's any way that situation would ever work out well for the Browns. All right, so let me throw out the scenario. Let's say he pulls a Darnold like Darnold did in Minnesota. He plays well.
Yeah.
Someone's going to pay him more than the Browns can pay him. Like I don't even think they actually can pay him that much money. And you're still talking about a guy who's coming off multiple injuries and is over like 30 plus on the plus side of 30 now, right? I think, or very close to it. Or he stinks and you've had to put up with him for another season and you still don't have a quarterback answer. The best case scenario, I'm going to throw this out there. I would like you guys to chime in. In my opinion, best case scenario this year is that Shedeur Sanders steps up and ends up being the guy. And we know that he's the guy going into next year. Or on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, he completely stinks up the joint and we've got like the number one pick and we're able to grab whatever best quarterback is available in next year's draft class. That is my opinion. Drew, what do you think? Where do you fall on that?
I mean, I think it's going to go to Shedeur Sanders because I don't think anyone wants to deal with Deshaun Watson. I know everyone keeps saying he's going to get an opportunity, he's going to get a chance. I mean, there's always a chance, don't get me wrong, but the thing is, it's not up to the media. It's not up to Jimmy Haslam. It's up to Todd Monken whether or not he wants to give him the opportunity. And as of right now, it seems like Todd Monken's really liking Shedeur because Shedeur is the only one, as of right now, showing up to the facilities, giving gifts to Todd Monken, coming and working out, doing a lot of things right now where Dylan hasn't been seen yet. Deshaun hasn't been seen yet. None of these other guys have been seen yet besides Shedeur. So I think Shedeur is getting into the good graces of the coach and, trying to earn that spot. But obviously he's got to earn it on the field too. You can't just earn it by giving a gift. You have to go out and play for it. But that's where I think he still earns it because coming off of multiple injuries, I don't think Deshaun has anything much in the tank anymore. I think the Browns are just like, well, this is his last year. We have to kind of just keep him around so that way we could dump his contract at the end of the season finally. And if there was some magical wizard who gave Deshaun all the magical powers in the world to go 15-2 like Sam Darnold did in Minnesota, guess what? No one would still want him because of all the injuries, of all the stuff he's been going through. He would still get bounced out of the league just like that. So either way, it doesn't.
He would demand more money if that happened. Then the Browns would have less cap space or flexibility to add to a team with Deshaun on more money. And there's no guarantee that he's going to replicate that same performance. So
exactly.
So, Mike, would you agree? Would you agree, or where do you fall in that whole saga?
I'm not going to comment on my actual thoughts because
good.
I'll probably get in trouble. But put it this way, I hope we have a repeat of the Bengals game. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, bingo. All right. You know what, guys? This is, for folks who watch us, normally I don't delve into this, but I have brought in two experts in Columbus Blue Jackets hockey. We're going to talk a little Blue Jackets hockey, and then we'll switch over, do a little Tottenham Hotspurs going
Can I
across
ask you something quickly? What's going on with Dylan Gabriel then? Because like
I don't know. He's in Hawaii or something. I don't know. No one's seen him.
he's waiting for his trade to Atlanta, right? To become the third lefty.
I think he's going to
be. He's waiting for
be here.
To call.
he'll probably be here, and he'll be around. But I think he's a complete non-factor. At some point, he will move. We will move on from him. He will move on. It's a complete.
He'll be playing for the Columbus Aviators next year in the UFL as third string quarterback on the depth chart, probably.
He would be lucky to play for the Aviators because the CFL probably would turn him down.
Because DTR can't even get minutes, can he? In that league.
No, we cannot. DTR not getting the minutes. Guys, I want you to talk to me a little bit here. We've got just as the NBA season runs, so does the NHL season.
And as soon as you bring this up, the Blue Jackets have just conceded a goal and they're losing 1-0.
Yep.
Like, perfect time.
Oh, well, fantastic. I mean, they are clinging to a playoff spot. Guys they've been around for 25 years and they've had about as much success as the Browns have had since 1999, or approximately, right? They've had a vast improvement though this season. They made a coaching change. What about how far into the season they made a coaching change?
Middle of January, but me and Andrew said that they should have made it about a month and a half prior to that because we were arguing, continuously saying that he's terrible, he needs to go. We were blowing all these third period leads. And the funny thing about this is they sacked him after a win.
Yeah. That's something Spurs would do, right?
Yes.
We were the last game of a West Coast trip. I can't remember who we were playing, but we won that game after losing the previous game. And before we returned home, they fired him. Because we had like 4 of our next 5 games at home and it's like 7 on the next day at home or something. And they decided to make the coaching change. But the funny thing is, they did it off the back of a win, which is kind of the thing you'd expect Spurs to do. But we'll speak about that in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about the chances for Columbus to find their way in to stay in the playoffs? And do they have any chance on a cold day in hell on the ice to make any noise in the playoffs, guys? I mean, Drew, what do you think?
I mean, if we had Rick Bowness early on, I think you can make a case that this team probably would have been a top 2 seed in the Metro. But obviously, again, just like Spurs, sometimes we do things too little too late. And then it's like, well, we could have done this months ago. We just decided, nah, we'll just keep rolling with the same guy. It's like the whole Thomas Frank situation. We'll just keep rolling with this guy. Maybe he'll turn things around. Maybe he won't. We don't know. But doesn't do anything. Doesn't turn anything around. You bring in a guy who does turn things around. You play a lot better. You play a lot more physical. You still continue to score goals. Because it's not like the team was bad to begin with. It's just we kept blowing leads in the third period. And then, obviously, confidence goes down. You get a guy like Bonus who brings confidence up. Team starts winning, back to, 9-game win streak. And then, again, a week later, they went, on another, 7-ish game win streak.
And he makes adjustments between games, which the other idiot, I can't even remember the previous coach's name now. Dean something.
Dean Eveson.
He never made adjustments between games. You could tell that. But then with Bonus, he comes out after the game and pretty much confirms what he's going to do ahead of the next game. He's always improving, looking to improve the team, make adjustments game to game. He said they had an extended meeting after the Sunday game where they blew the 3-0 lead. They had a 3-0 lead after the first period. They ended up going to a shootout and ended up losing. And they had an extended meeting about it afterwards and what needs to be fixed, what went wrong, blah, 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 blah. Whereas the other guy clearly wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
so you can see the difference, in performances. The team's been a lot better. They went on that massive point streak, which got ended about 2 weeks ago now. They've lost, they've got 3 points in their last 4 or 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Got on a bit of a slump. It's like they got in the playoff spot, and since they got into it, they've got 3 points from the last 5 games.
That's rough. That is not where you want to be. Currently in the standings, as I look at, so right now, as I pulled up the bracket, They are in the Eastern Conference Wild Card 2 and would actually face the Metro Division 1, which is the Hurricanes, who they are playing right now and currently losing 1-0, getting blanked there.
Yep.
So they don't have much margin for error. They are I mean, it's only 2 wild card spots, so there's not much room to breathe. And let's see, you've got the Flyers with a game in hand behind them by 2 points. And Ottawa is right there, game in hand behind them by 2 points, as well as Detroit. And I don't know about all the tiebreakers, but
as I'm looking right now,
the tiebreaker spots are terrible because it goes by regulation wins, and I think we're behind a lot of teams' regulation wins because we've got a lot of wins in like overtime. So I think we don't hold many tiebreakers. But then you look at strength of schedule, and like the New York Islanders, or how do you is it Islanders? Icelanders?
Yeah. Islanders.
Yeah, they've got the highest remaining strength of schedule, the hardest. Then it's the Blue Jackets, then it's Boston, and then you've still got the Flyers and Ottawa 9 and 10. So that's like 5 teams there that are involved in this race that are amongst the top 10 when it comes to hardest schedule. And like, I think New York's going to miss out personally. I think either Detroit or the Blue Jackets get in, because I think Ottawa have lost some defensemen, if I remember correctly. So I think they might struggle to stay in this. The Flyers are an interesting one because I think they're the hottest team at the moment. On form, if I remember correctly.
They are, in their last 10, they are 8-1-1. They've won 3 consecutive. You know who the hottest team is? It's that darn French Canadian team that's won.
Yeah, but a team like the Flyers can be dangerous because no one's expecting them to be in it. Because it's like the Premier League, we'll speak out about in a minute, but no one's talking about them. But they're the hottest team that's trying to get in, so they keep going, and then all the other teams above them are taking points off each other. They can quite quickly get into it, and then they're the kind of team to worry about, even though I don't like the Flyers, and we beat them the other day. And now it's 2-0 Carolina.
Yeah.
So, brilliant.
Yeah, another crappy power play goal for Carolina. But I was going to say, if we were to come back in this game somehow, we're getting some decent help because the Capitals are beating the Flyers 2-0. Panthers are beating the Senators 5-0. The Sabres are beating the Islanders 1-0. So if we were to
so all these teams that are below us are going to lose with us tonight. Great.
Yeah. So all these teams below us, and then the Islanders are going to lose, and they're above us. So yeah, we're going to lose as well. So it's like, oh, we need that at least a point to get ahead of the Islanders.
But we're just going to somehow survive this. We're going to have a 6-game streak where we have 4 losses, 1 regulation loss, and a win. And we're just going to, by skin of our teeth, stay in that second wildcard spot, despite this little slump. Like,
how annoying is it that teams that we've been seeing all these daggone teams from Florida winning the Stanley Cup? I mean, it's more annoying to Canadian people, but I'm like, they're playing hockey in Florida?
Why do they even have teams? Because Florida's boiling hot. Like, can't they have I know it's indoors, but
I know it's kind of funny when you think about it. And Las Vegas is also.
But my biggest concern about the Blue Chips right now is I think Andrew will agree with this. So one of their most physical players, who's a Rick Bonus absolute kind of player in Matthew Olivier, got injured mid-game last game, and then we collapsed after he left the game. And he's been ruled out for the next couple of weeks, which basically eliminates him for the rest of the regular season, probably. And he's like that kind of guy you need late in the season, because I always think the last 20 games are like the playoffs. That they get more physical, teams are more desperate, the flow of the games get towards the playoff kind of flow of hockey. So they're much more difficult than the first 62. And you need a guy like that in the lineup, like especially for a team that's still relatively young compared to other teams, and he's going to be out. And you need that person that can start fighting when it's needed, like when you need that kind of thing to get the momentum back on your side. You need a guy like Olivier on your ice.
You need a hockey goon. That's what they call it, a hockey goon. I heard there was this guy who attacked someone with a skate. Oh, sorry, that was a movie reference. My bad.
I think he's going to be a big miss, and they've lost one of their best defensemen as well in Severson.
Damon Severson.
Yeah,
Severson,
and,
okay.
and since he's been out, the slump started as soon as he went out the D line. So, yeah, they've got a couple important injuries which may derail the season, but hopefully they can just grind it out, I guess. Because, like I've said to a few people, if they can grind it out, I feel like getting in last minute for them is probably better. Because if you're battle tested and you slide in last minute, you go through the adversity early, it'll be better preparation for the playoffs.
Well, you've got nothing to lose. You really have nothing to lose if you get in and you're kind of battling. You're an underdog. You can take that mentality and you can cause some problems. The NHL playoffs. You want to talk about a sport where really there isn't much home field advantage. Hockey is one of those sports. It feels like teams constantly are winning on the road all over the place. It is not the same as it is in
There was
other
series last year, I saw in the playoffs where literally we go to game 7 and like no home team had won, and you're like,
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Speaking of teams that can't win at home, hey, come on, you Spurs! Yay! Yay!
So,
Glory, Tottenham Hotspur.
Spurs have had more managers in the last year than home wins in the Premier League now. I've got a new manager.
Oh my goodness, guys! What do you think about the apparent so De Zerbi? He was appointed, or it's being finalized. Where are we at on this? What's the news from across the pond, Mike?
Well, it's official because Spurs tweeted it about
so he is official.
5 today.
How many? All right, what's the situation, guys? And do we have any hope? How many points do you think we need to scrap to survive potential relegation?
I look at West Ham's fixtures. I think we need about 8 because they've got some very tough games coming up. They've got Arsenal and Newcastle back to back. They've got to go to Brentford, which ain't going to be easy. Everton at home is going to be tough for them, and then Wolves have got nothing to play for. So they've got some really tricky games, and they're the team that's currently in the bottom 3. They're a point below Spurs, so Spurs have a point buffer on them currently. Because they're on 29, we're on 30, and then you've got Forest on 32, and Leeds, which no one's talking about. No one's talking about Leeds. And like I said to the Flyers, potentially making the playoffs, being out of nowhere, no one talking about them. Maybe the Leeds get dragged into the playoffs, not the playoffs, the relegation battle, and maybe they end up going down because no one's really talking about them. But with West Ham's schedule, I think Spurs maybe 8 points may get it done because that would mean West Ham probably need 10 because of the goal difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Who do you think they need to? All right. So let's talk about this here a little bit. And for those of you who may not be, all in on the Premier League, we'll try and keep this as basic as possible. First of all, the Spurs to us, to Cleveland fans, I would say it's a very good comparison to Cleveland sports, to the Cleveland Browns. It's a team with a proud heritage and history that hasn't won a lot in recent times, although they won Europa last year and then proceeded to fire the manager.
I've seen 3 trophies in my lifetime, I suppose. Actually, technically 4, but one of them I was a month old.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, that's another thing there. Spurs. So we've got our next match. They're currently on the international break. Spurs' next matchup is against Sunderland. Then we've got, and that's on the road, which apparently we're better on the road. Then we got Brighton Hove Albion, right at home.
Yep.
And Wolves at home. Wolves is out. We need to circle Wolves. We need that win. That's got to be 3.
I had a stat the other day actually because do you guys listen to Last Word on Spurs and Talk with like Billy and Ricky and all that?
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
I do not, so I'll rely on you folks.
But anyway, there was a stat that got brought up yesterday because I tuned into the last 20 minutes of the show yesterday. Not tonight because I'm a new day, but whatever it was Monday, yeah. And do you know the last time Spurs beat Wolves?
It's been a long time.
Do you know who scored?
The
winner.
Harry Kane?
Nope.
Wrong end
of the pitch, and it wasn't an own goal.
Oh,
Jan
Oh,
Vertonghen's the answer.
Jan Vertonghen, yeah.
Wow, Jan Vertonghen. Whoa, we have struggled
we,
against
sco- we
Wolves.
scored in stoppage time right at the end. I can't remember what it was, but it was years ago. And that's the last time we beat them.
Wow,
Jan
that is
Vertonghen.
bad. And obviously the matchup against Leeds is huge. So
Well, that's going to be ringed on everyone's calendar, just like the Forest game, which we ended up getting battered by 3-0. Like, it's another relegation 6-pointer that everyone's screaming that Spurs need 3 points from. There's going to be
that
added
was
pressure
brutal.
in that game.
What? Okay, let me ask you guys this question because again, you follow this far more closely than I do. But is it just a matter? Is it the manager? Is it the injuries? Is it the personnel? I mean, where do you put all of the?
You haven't said the problem yet.
The ownership. The ownership.
The root of the problem is the people at the top. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
All right. Well, let's talk.
Brand.
But let's talk about what's happened on the field, right?
Yeah.
What is wrong? Is it because we've had the injuries? Is it because of the manager not being able to get the guys to play in a system that works? Where is the biggest issue for them, guys? I'd love to know just what the hell is happening.
Are you talking recent or in the last?
I mean,
10 years?
This season.
Not spending enough money compared to the other teams, I guess.
I mean, Drew, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's more so the money and not spending, but also too, if you want to talk more on the pitch,
Yeah.
it's a mix of everything. Obviously, it's the manager, it's the personnel, it's the players themselves. Because we heard Mickey come out, was it like a couple weeks ago, saying like, "Oh, I never said this, or nobody's saying this and this, whatever." And it's like, okay, well, that's a load of crap, because I'm sure the person who said I want to leave is you.
That's what came to my mind when I saw the tweet that came out saying about that. I was like, "That's fundamental." Like, it's either him or Vicario. I'm like, it's one of the two.
It's him or Vicario or both. but it's a mix of everything, because again, the players need to be in the right attitude. They need to be in a we have to keep this team alive attitude. Because guess what? If they don't keep the team up, they're not going to get paid either, because no team's going to want to sign a team in a championship or a player in a championship, so they're not going to get signed. It's a mix of a manager, because Igor Tudor has 0 Premier League experience. Don't know why you decided to bring him in. He's only gone to teams struggling, and then he would leave after the season's end. So he had no experience whatsoever.
We got rid of Tudor after 44 days, yeah?
Yeah, after 40 days.
We should have got rid of Thomas Frank after 44 days of Premier League management. Like, we should have got rid of him. Like, I said November after the Chelsea Man United games at home. The game where Chelsea just I think they won, like, was it 1-0, but they embarrassed us. And then the Man United game where De Ligt scored last minute from a corner, I was like,
and what is the problem?
It was just enough of enough, and like, he should have been sacked then, but then they didn't want to sack him because he's a new manager, and then they've just gone and done the same. They've gone and done the opposite with Tudor. They've like brought him in an interim and then sacked him within 5 league games. They could have done that with Frank.
What's hilarious too is like they'll sit there and be like, "Oh, it's too early to sack Thomas Frank in November," but they did it with Nuno, which they sacked him in like November, and then I think they did the same thing with Conte as well. When Conte started a new season, they sacked him after like 2 months, 3 months. It's like, okay, it's not a problem of go ahead. It's not a problem of sacking the manager early. It's just a matter of you like this guy way too much, so you just want to keep him around the building.
It was November we sacked Nuno, because I've got a funny story for you. I don't know if I told you this, and you might have seen my Twitter profile, my pinned tweet. So me and my mate Dan, who's a Spurs fan, we were on holiday in Lisbon, yeah, and we went in, regular sports shop that sells like kits and stuff. Do you know?
Yeah, sure.
A regular like city sports shop. And do you know Fabrizio Romano?
Oh yeah.
He was in that shop. He was in that shop. Oh my
gosh,
that's funny.
And it was literally, I think, the day after Conte got employed the Spurs manager.
Oh.
And we were like thanking him in the shop for releasing the news, and we were really happy. It was a great appointment, all this.
Oh.
And then it didn't work out. But yeah, we met him for Fabrizio Romano like the day after he announced Conte. So yeah, it was the first week in November in 2021
Yep.
that
Wow.
Nuno got sacked. So we could have done the same with Frank around the same time. A couple of weeks later, we could have sacked Frank, but they didn't do it. They did it with Nuno. They sacked him
Yeah.
start of
Wow.
November. So they could have done the same with Frank, but apparently they didn't want to. And it's probably going to cost us relegation potentially, because if they got rid of Frank back then, who knows where it'd be right now? Because
Well, and it's funny too because they sacked Jose before the FA Cup final.
don't start that. Was that the FA Cup or League Cup?
I can't
League
remember.
Cup
I think it was
League Cup. It's Man United. We played Man City in the final.
Yeah,
Frank
that's
from
right. Yeah.
And we ended up losing because was it Mason? Why Mason take charge? Was Sherwood one or two?
I think it was Mason that took charge.
Yeah, it was on the Monday.
Yep,
We sacked him on the Monday.
Ryan Mason, right?
On the Monday, then Mason took
We went
charge.
the cup final the following weekend, and we ended up losing. And what's Mourinho known for? Why, apart from being an idiot? What did we appoint him for? What's he known for doing? Being a serial winner and winning trophies, yeah? And we sack him before a cup final.
Yep.
Wow.
It's
This is depressing.
No, it's mind-boggling because it's like, oh yeah, let's get the serial winner out of the FA or out of the cup final because it's like, oh, we just don't want to win a trophy. We're right here.
It's like the Browns turn around, get into the Super Bowl, and go with Todd Monken. You're fired because we don't win Super Bowls around here.
we don't win around here. Get out of my club. Get out of here.
That would be the icing on the cake, guys. Well, we are going to track this over the course of the remainder of the Premier season as I have you guys around.
Well, I see the Zerbi very similar to Conte. Like I think he's a good manager, but the problem is he's going to clash with certain players because if they don't play how he wants them to play, he's going to tell them what it is. And if the board don't back him, he's going to tell them what they think, like Conte and Mourinho has, and even Ange. But
you know what? That's good because I'm tired of seeing Vicario in goal. So I know De Zerbi's going to be like, "Listen, you're going to do this."
Austin will be in goal for the first game. Anyway, Vicario will have a shock after his hernia treatment and training, and De Zerbi will be like, "No, you're not good enough."
That guy.
But I'm hoping because Spurs, if they stay up, will scrape their way to staying up. That the board will realise that they've had two missed hits where they've nearly gone down. They've stayed up by the skin of their teeth this time, and they'll realise that they have to change their ways. Because why would De Zerbi accept the contract? Like, apart from money, why would he accept a 5-year deal? Like, have they told him already that if he keeps them up, they're actually going to back him? Because otherwise, why is he going to commit to long term? It just makes, for a manager like him, it makes no sense. Like,
well, and what's funny to me is they're going to sign him for 5 years. They're not going to back him in the summer, and then he's going to leave like probably halfway through, or he's going to go, or towards the end of the season, he's going to dip out because he's going to be like, they just don't listen. They don't care. They're not going to back me. They haven't backed anyone in recent years. So why would they stop back? Well, like, why would they back them now? Like, they're not going to at the end of the day.
The thing is, hopefully this is a kick up the backside that they need to realise that actually you can't just be cheap to stay in the Premier League. You're going to have that. Because there's other teams out there now. There's other teams out there now. Look at Everton, right, for example. Everton got hit for point deduction, nearly got relegated last year. And then they might qualify for Champions League this year. And it's like, they didn't make brilliant signings. They just spent enough beyond what they normally spend to get up there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Spurs need to do. They need to go out and spend more than what they have been doing.
Well, and you also have to spend it wisely. You have to spend it wisely. You got to get the right guys. This is going to be something to watch. My
biggest worry though is the Spurs go down, because I disagree with what Andrew said about the players. Yeah, I think all these players will get sold if Spurs go down. Because most of their players are international players. They play, so they'll be playing at the World Cup. Majority of those players, which is funny in itself. But most of them will get sold. My biggest concern is if Spurs go down, you're going to have to bring in players who have championship experience, who have been in the championship for like the last 2-3 years, whatever, to get you back up.
Yeah.
But then the problem then lies, the Spurs fans won't accept that squad in the Premier League because they'll be worried that they'll be battered in relegation again because the quality of players won't be there. So how are you going to flip between one season to the next? Because those players deep down probably know that once they get Spurs promoted, they're going to get kicked out. And if they don't, the fans are going to hate it because they don't want a championship squad playing the Premier League. Like, how do you?
It's hard to balance it out.
How do you balance that issue? Like,
You can't.
do you go the unknown route and go and get like 5 more Lucas Bergfelds from Scandinavia who are young, who might do well in the Championship, but you can build around once you get back into the Premier League? Or do you go the Championship route and you end up having to just bin them off after a year? Like, and then you've got the financial aspect where Spurs are going to lose a lot of money from sponsorship deals, TV rights, not playing in Europe, bonuses from being in the Premier League, all that stuff. Like, how are they going to balance the two things? Like,
yeah, in a 60,000+ seat stadium too.
you haven't been to that stadium, have you? Have you never been to that game? Either of you?
No, I've never been to England. Actually, I need to. That's on the list.
Well, the tickets will be cheaper at Spurs than the Championship, but the stadiums could be half empty, so you won't get the experience. It'll be cheaper, but you won't get a full-on experience. But
I hear you. Well, guys, we've been talking quite a while here, but I think we should try and close things out. Why don't you guys tell everybody if anything, what has you going nuclear this week? Mike, would you care to tell us what has you going nuclear?
I don't know really. I have a lot of sport things that haven't been going nuclear at the moment. On social media mainly.
Yeah.
All these people about Miles Garrett trade proposals. Oh, we should trade him. You could get this for him. They're all nonsense. And then you've got other people like these mock drafts. Like, do people really think the Browns are going to take a quarterback in the first round of this draft? Like Ty Simpson,
it's maddening. It's maddening for sure.
And then you've got people like Chops. I hope he's not watching this.
Don't worry. He's not watching me. I'm not good enough for that.
You've got people that are here who are just constantly talking about it, and for clicks, and it's so annoying because how many people would truly believe that Miles Garrett's going to get traded? Like, does he actually think they are? Or is he just using this for views and clicks? Like, or does he actually think this is going to happen? Like, but he's posting. I've had to mute him now because he's posting about it every day.
Yeah, no, it happens, and yeah, I understand why that has you.
And then you've got Nick Padone, who hasn't responded to me yet about the opportunity, and his takes are not very good at the moment.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm going to agree with you there. Drew, what has you going nuclear?
So what has me going nuclear is, I was going to use the old X-holes thing too as the going nuclear because, I'm tired of these people on X being these clickbaiters and, all these, I'm not going to name, well, I can name names, Nick Padone, all these guys and all that who think they're the most intelligent person in the world and think, again, Miles is going to get traded and whatnot. I'm going to go trending a little differently, and I'm going to go towards more like Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams down the route because, first 2 games of the season, you guys are supposed to be our elite pitchers, and, you can't win, but yet you get a young Parker Messick in his first full MLB season against the Dodgers and goes 6 at full innings, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. Looks like a all-star pitcher. And next thing you know, you have Gavin Williams who goes to Seattle, who, don't get me wrong, good team, good ball club over there. 6 walks, don't get me wrong, 6 walks, but how do you have as many strikeouts as you do walks? That's baffling to me. And Tanner Bybee, giving up 3 home runs per game. I said it earlier. He did it all last year. And it's just so frustrating because you have 2 amazing pitching coaches in Carl Willis and in Corey Kluber, who's a Cy Young Award winner, who is teaching you how to pitch. And it's like, you guys still don't know how to pitch. Like, and I'm sure those 2 are sitting there like, what more can we teach you? We're teaching you all how to like really be an effective pitcher. And you guys just somehow can't throw the ball in the strike zone. Or when you do, you throw deep down the middle of the plate where it gets bombed for 450 feet. And it's like, okay, guys, let the two young kids and Cantillo and Parker Messick show you how to actually throw the ball. And they're the ones who are actually pitching the most effectively. So for me, I know, again, it's one game, but this leaked into last season as well, where, don't get me wrong, they were really great towards the end of the season. But, you're supposed to be these all-star pitchers. Everyone's having Gavin as a guy who can get, votes for Cy Young Award winner. And as of right now, they're just not really showing it to me. And, it's really frustrating because we're the pitching factory. We're supposed to make these guys elite. And, while we were talking, I looked down at AAA Columbus.
Logan, 5 guys down there that could quite easily replace him.
Logan Allen's throwing an absolute gem right now in Indianapolis.
Will you stop? Do not. Wash your mouth out with soap.
Does that increase his trade value? So the Baltimore Orioles are quickly becoming the Baltimore Indians. Trade for Logan Allen and Nolan Jones because they're playing well in AAA.
Listen to this. So let me go back to the box score for this Clippers and this Clippers game. So Logan Allen tonight, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts.
He's clearly a good enough AAA pitcher, but not at the major leagues. Well, I get it. The major league.
This is another thing that has me going nuclear as well. To be honest, you'll see this happen all the time, where a player sucks in the majors. They go down for 2-3 days, have one good outing, and then people call them for them to come back up. I'm like, really?
Yeah, unless your doctor sticks. That never happened.
What will happen is they'll call up Logan Allen, he'll come pitch, and he'll give up 5 home runs and then get sent back down.
Probably.
And then he'll be out of options, and he can go bye-bye. See you later.
Oh, that'll work too. Well, Drew, I don't want to cut you off there. Did you finish your statement?
Yeah,
well, what has me going nuclear, guys, is incompetence. Incompetence everywhere. Everywhere I come about, there is incompetence. Whether it's work, whether it's driving, whether it's going to the store, whether it's anything. It's just incompetence. It's absolutely incompetence. I cannot believe how people have jobs they have with their lack of abilities and their inability to do their jobs. Quit making other people do the work for you. Folks, you gotta be good. It's not acceptable. It's not okay to be incompetent and get paid a lot of money. Or don't get paid a lot of money. Do your job or get fired. The people above you need to fire you or they're incompetent because they won't fire you for being incompetent. It's all incompetence. And that, folks, is what has me going nuclear tonight. So, folks, again, want to thank Drew Hagenbaugh, Mike Pellegrini, Mike from the UK, for joining me here tonight. Also want to thank Paulie Campione as we are part of Collected and Connected, a Good Vibes community. And so, once again, for Mike Pellegrini, for Drew Hagenbaugh, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you have been tuned in to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the land.